All right, get ready, because today we're going to look at a market that, well, people have called it a lot of things.
Yeah.
From fringe to, the next big thing, silver.
Yes, silver.
And you might be surprised to learn that it's actually been doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Better than a lot of the mainstream stuff that people talk about all the time. And, well, that got us curious.
Yeah.
This deep dive, it's kind of like your shortcut, right? To figure out why some of the smart investors out there,
The savvy investors.
yeah, they're starting to pay attention to silver. I mean, it's a metal it's kind of been ignored for a while.
It has. It has. And what's fascinating, I think, is that silver's got like a really interesting history. As rich as like the metal itself.
Yeah.
And we're going to use the insights of Doug Casey today. He's a big resource investor.
Yeah.
Known for kind of going against the grain.
Yeah. He's definitely a contrarian.
A contrarian.
Yeah.
And finding those opportunities that other people, don't even want to touch. They just see risk.
They see risk. He sees
Potential.
yeah, potential.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's like a financial detective.
Yeah. Yeah. And today, silver is our case.
That's right.
So our mission, if we choose to accept it, is to figure out, what's going on in the silver market?
Right.
What are the forces at play?
Right.
And why does this guy Casey think it's going to go way up?
Exactly. And we found some pretty interesting clues.
Yeah, I think so too. Really interesting clues.
Yeah. And one of the first things that kind of jumps out at you is this fact that silver has been in a supply deficit
Okay.
for over a decade.
Over a decade.
Like, think about that for a second.
Wow.
So demand is higher than what we're producing.
Consistently.
Yeah, year after year.
Year after year.
We're not talking about like a small little imbalance.
Yeah. Right.
Casey, he's got this report, and it highlights that just in 2023,
Okay.
the deficit was massive.
How big are we talking?
237.7 million ounces.
Wow. Okay.
It's like, trying to fill up a swimming pool with a leaky bucket.
Yeah.
And it's been going on for years.
Okay, now that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Econ 101, if something's scarce, the price should go up.
Supply and demand?
Right.
Yeah.
So why hasn't the price of silver gone through the roof?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
And it leads us to that first clue that we were talking about. It's this drawdown of silver stockpiles by governments and institutions.
Okay. So explain that a little bit.
So it's like these stockpiles, these giant reservoirs of silver.
Right.
And they've been kind of slowly drained over the years.
Okay.
And that's kind of kept the market, afloat artificially.
So it's like someone's been secretly selling silver.
Yeah.
To keep the price down.
It's possible.
I mean, is that even legal?
Well, it's been used by governments in the past.
Okay.
There's this crazy story about the U.S. Treasury back in the 60s.
Yeah.
They had all this silver, and they decided to sell it off to try and keep the price at $1.29 an ounce.
Why?
They were literally manipulating the market.
Okay. So what happens when these stockpiles, when they shrink down, when they're gone?
Well, that's the big question mark, right? And it's a big part of why Casey is so bullish on silver.
Okay.
The U.S. stockpile's pretty much gone. And even China, they've been a big seller of silver. They're running low, too.
Wow.
So just imagine what happens when these governments, instead of selling, they got to start buying silver to fill up their reserves again.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to see the bigger picture. But, I always thought, like, digital photography, that killed the silver market.
Yeah.
Nobody really uses film anymore.
Yeah, it's a common thought. Yeah. But the reality is it's more complicated than that.
Okay.
So yeah, demand for photography has gone down, but that also means less scrap silver is getting, recycled back into the market.
Oh, okay. So like less film, less old negatives and stuff.
Exactly.
To get that silver out of.
Yeah. So it's not that simple. It's more like the sources of supply are shifting.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And if we look at the big picture, industrial demand for silver is actually going up.
It's going up.
Yeah.
I would have thought it would have been the opposite.
I know.
No.
And that's where silver's kind of like special properties, they really come into play.
Okay, yeah. Tell me more about that.
It's the best at conducting heat and electricity.
Mm.
It's highly reflective, and it's incredibly malleable.
Right, right.
You find it in everything: electronics, solar panels,
Mhm.
even medical applications.
Yeah. So it's like silver's powering all this technology
Yeah.
that we use every day.
In the background,
Yeah, quietly.
quietly.
And that demand's just going to keep growing.
Yes,
Bro.
as technology keeps advancing.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just like old-fashioned stuff.
Right. No.
This is like the future too.
Yeah, and it gets really exciting here.
Okay.
Because we're starting to see silver being used in some really, like, cutting-edge technologies.
Okay.
I mean, stuff that could totally change the game.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Like fuel cells
Okay.
for electric vehicles.
Right.
Superconductors.
Yeah.
They can, like, transmit electricity with zero resistance.
Wow.
And even, like, antimicrobial agents,
Uh-huh.
that can fight bacteria and viruses.
Wow. It sounds like silver's like stepping into like the world of sci-fi.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
And this ties back into some of the big, like, mega trends, right? That
Okay.
are shaping, the world today.
Yeah.
I mean, like the rise of electric vehicles,
Right.
all the advancements in healthcare,
Mhm.
and just, this constant push
Mm.
for more tech, for better technology.
Yeah.
Silver's, like, quietly becoming this essential element
Wow.
in a lot of those advancements.
So, okay. So we've got shrinking stockpiles,
Yeah.
demand's going up, and this incredible potential for silver to be a big part of these future technologies.
That's right.
It's starting to sound to me like the price is going to go up.
Yeah.
It's got to go up.
And yet, I mean, most investors, they're not even looking at silver.
Really?
Yeah.
Well-
They're focused on the mainstream stuff. So it's kind of like this contrarian play.
Right. And that's where Doug Casey comes in.
Exact.
I mean, he's made his whole career finding the value that other people miss,
That's right.
and he really thinks that silver's it's about to break out.
Yeah. He often says that once once everyone catches on, the biggest gains, they're already gone.
Yeah.
So the key is to be positioned early.
Yeah, it's like that old saying, right? Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful.
Exactly.
But with silver, it seems like everyone's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like they don't even care.
Yeah. And that brings us to another really interesting part of the silver market.
Okay.
The derivatives market.
Oh yeah.
This is where things can get interesting,
Okay.
especially if you're, looking for those big returns.
Right. Right.
But it also comes with more risk.
Okay.
So, I mean, derivatives always sound kind of complicated, but imagine you want to buy a house,
Okay.
but you don't have all the money up front.
Right.
You
Yeah.
take out a mortgage, right?
Right.
You're basically borrowing money to buy the asset.
Right.
Now, even small changes in the house's value
Yeah.
can lead to, like, big gains or losses for you.
Right.
That's leverage.
Okay.
In a nutshell.
So the derivatives market, it's like a leveraged bet
Mm-hmm.
on where silver is going to go in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah. So investors, they trade these contracts
Mm-hmm.
based on what they think silver's going to do.
Right.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
The size of this derivatives market, it's huge.
Okay.
Way bigger than the actual market for physical silver.
Okay. So it's like a giant poker game.
Yeah, with really high
Have
stakes.
Yeah.
With silver as the chips.
Right.
And because of all this leverage, even like little changes
Right.
in how people feel can make the price go crazy.
So, I mean, if investors get really bullish on silver,
Mm-hmm.
the price can go way up.
Right.
But the opposite's true too.
Yeah.
It's a volatile market.
So it's risky.
It can amplify both gains and losses.
Okay. So not for the faint of heart.
Right.
But for people who are willing to take a little more risk.
Yeah.
I mean, the potential's it's huge.
Yeah, that's the bet that Doug Casey's making.
Mm.
And he suggests a specific way
Okay.
to try and capitalize on this potential silver surge.
Okay.
He recommends investing in silver mining stocks.
Okay. So instead of buying like physical silver,
Mhm.
he's saying invest in the companies
Yeah.
that produce it.
Exactly.
Uh,
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if the price of silver goes up,
Mhm.
those companies they're gonna do really well.
Yeah, the profits go up.
Right. Their profits go up. Their
Right.
stock prices go up.
Right. So it's like a double whammy.
It is.
You get the silver price going up, and then you get the growth of the company too.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so interesting.
Yeah.
It's a contrarian play
Yeah.
with a lot of potential upside.
Right.
But like any investment,
Yeah.
there are risks.
Sure.
And we'll get into those a little bit later.
Okay. So far, we've uncovered this supply deficit that just won't go away.
Right.
Stockpiles are shrinking. Industrial demand, it keeps going up.
Yeah.
And then we've got this wild card, the derivatives market.
Yeah, the derivatives market.
I mean, it's starting to feel like all the pieces are in place for a silver boom.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like it's got to happen.
It's looking that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at some of the specific things
All right.
that could actually make this silver surge happen. It's like we're gathering more clues to solve this silver mystery.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a financial whodunit.
It is.
Yeah.
We're like financial detectives.
We are. That's right.
All right. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Well, history, it tends to kind of repeat itself. And with silver, we've seen this pattern over and over again. Like whenever there's some kind of, economic trouble or the world gets kind of shaky geopolitically, people, they start looking for something solid, like hard assets, gold, silver.
Right.
It's like they're running for safety, looking for something real, something tangible with like real value.
Right. Something that stood the test of time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying like when the world gets kind of crazy, silver's like the safe haven.
It can be. Yeah.
Okay. But what kind of events? Like, what are we talking about here?
Well, I mean, I'm picturing like a global currency crisis, or maybe the dollar loses its grip as the world's reserve currency.
Okay,
that could definitely shake things up. I mean, if people lose faith in paper money, in fiat currencies, they often turn to precious metals.
Right. It's like that store of value.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, silver was money. For centuries.
Right. Before we had paper money.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Pieces of 8, silver dollars, all those pirate treasures.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So it's like going back to something familiar.
Yeah.
When times get tough.
Yeah.
Okay. What else could happen? I mean, what else could like really shake things up?
Well, I mean, wars, unfortunately.
Right.
Pandemics.
Yeah.
Those are always a possibility.
Right.
And these days, I mean, you got to factor in things like climate change.
Oh, yeah.
Resource scarcity.
Right.
I mean, that could really throw things off balance.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like disruptions to global supply chains. That could drive up the demand for silver.
Exactly. Yeah.
Especially since we use so much of it in all this industrial stuff.
Yeah, it's like silver's, it's this quiet player in the background. It's powering all our technologies.
Right.
It's part of the economy.
Right.
And then all of a sudden something happens and bam, it's front and center.
It's like everyone realizes how important it really is.
Yeah, it's true value.
Yeah. Okay. So the takeaway here, silver's, it's like a hedge against chaos.
That's one way to put it.
Right. When things go bad, silver often goes up.
That's right.
Okay.
And that's a key part of Doug Casey's investment strategy.
Okay.
He's not trying to like time the market perfectly.
Right.
He's playing the long game. He sees silver's value.
Yeah.
And he knows it's got the potential to really shine when other assets are struggling.
So it's like planting a seed.
Yeah.
And you got to wait for it to grow.
That's a good analogy.
You don't dig it up every day to see if it's sprouted.
Yeah.
You got to be patient.
Patience.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm feeling pretty good about silver so far.
Yeah.
But let's play devil's advocate for a minute.
Okay.
What are the risks?
Well, I mean,
what should people be aware of?
I mean, like any investment,
Yeah.
silver's not without risk.
Okay.
I mean, for one thing, it's a relatively small market
Okay.
compared to like gold, for example.
Right, correct.
So that means it can be more volatile. It can be more susceptible to price manipulation, to sudden swings.
Okay.
So you got to have a strong stomach.
Yeah.
You got to be ready for those ups and downs.
Buckle up and ride the waves.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's important to remember, silver's not like a get-rich-quick scheme.
Okay.
This is a long-term investment.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be patient.
Right.
You got to believe in its value.
Gotcha. Slow and steady wins the race.
That's right.
Okay. But let's get back to those new uses for silver that we were talking about before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, things like fuel cells, superconductors, antimicrobial agents. I mean, that stuff sounds like it could like change everything.
It really could. I mean, these technologies, they're not just like sci-fi fantasies anymore.
Right.
They're being developed right now.
Right.
They're being used.
Right.
And as they mature, as they become more widespread,
right,
the demand for silver, I mean, it could really explode.
Okay. Now my mind's going crazy.
Yeah.
I'm picturing like a world where everyone's driving electric cars powered by fuel cells that use silver.
Right.
Or hospitals, they're using these silver-based antimicrobial agents to fight infections.
Exactly.
It's mind-boggling.
The possibilities are really incredible.
Yeah.
It's like we're on the verge of a silver revolution.
Yeah. And if Doug Casey's right, I mean, the people who invest in silver now, they could be in a really good position.
Yeah, like getting in on the ground floor.
Yeah.
Of something huge.
Of something really revolutionary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So someone's listening to this and they're intrigued.
Right.
They're interested in this potential of silver. Where do they even start?
Well, I mean, knowledge is power, right? So the first steps, educate yourself. Luckily, there's tons of resources out there.
Okay.
Books, articles, websites.
Right.
All sorts of stuff that can help you understand, how silver investing works.
Yeah.
But, don't get overwhelmed.
Right.
Just start with the basics.
Yeah.
Supply and demand, historical trends, the different ways you can actually invest in silver.
It's like becoming a silver detective.
Kinda, yeah.
Right? Like uncovering those clues.
Yeah.
Putting the pieces together.
Yeah. Okay.
And, you don't have to become an expert overnight.
Right.
Just take your time, do your research.
Okay.
Gradually build up your understanding of the market.
Right.
And then, you can decide if silver is the right investment for you.
And, of course, we always remind our listeners.
Yes.
We are not financial advisors.
That's right.
And investing, it always has some risk.
Always. So do your own research.
Yeah.
Due diligence.
Yeah.
If you need to, talk to a professional before you make any decisions.
Okay, good advice. Good advice. Yeah. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit here. Yeah. I want to talk about something that I think is really fascinating.
Okay.
Nanotechnology.
Ah, yeah.
Right.
The science of the really, really small manipulating matter at the atomic level, molecular level.
Right.
I mean, that's a field with huge potential.
Yeah.
And silver's playing a big role.
A huge role. Yeah. I was reading that silver nanoparticles.
Okay.
They have some pretty remarkable properties.
They do, yeah.
I mean, they're incredibly conductive. They've got antibacterial properties, and they can even be used in sensors and imaging devices.
It's almost like silver's like stepping into like the world of sci-fi.
Right. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And here's where it gets really crazy.
Okay. Imagine a world where we're using these silver nanoparticles to create like super efficient solar panels,
right?
Or super fast computer chips,
right?
Or even like life-saving medical treatments.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's a whole new level.
It's a new level
of technology.
Yeah, and silver's is right at the center of it.
Right at the heart of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like we're watching this silver revolution happen.
It really is.
Right. And as with any revolution, the people who see it coming, they're the ones who benefit the most.
That's right.
So as you're learning more about silver, as you're looking into this market, keep an eye on nanotechnology.
Yeah, good advice.
I think it could be like the key to unlocking even more value in silver.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff.
It is.
It's kind of wild when you think about how silver, like how it's been used for like forever. From ancient coins to all this nanotech stuff we were just talking about.
Right.
It's a metal that's like stood the test of time.
It really has.
But here's what gets me right.
Okay.
Like, even with all this history, all these uses, all this potential that it has, silver's still pretty cheap.
It is. It's kind of a paradox.
It is a paradox. So.
Yeah. This metal with such a rich history and such a bright future is still like way cheaper than gold.
It really makes you wonder, like, are we at some kind of tipping point?
Yeah.
You know, is this like the calm before the storm?
It could be.
Could silver be like the next big thing?
It's definitely possible.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so interesting.
Yeah,
it's not like we're talking about some obscure, asset that nobody uses.
Yeah.
Silver, it's already important to all these industries.
It is, yeah.
And its role is only going to get bigger.
Right.
As technology keeps advancing.
Exactly.
So I think for people who are willing to, do their research, think long term, and take a little bit of risk, silver could be a really good investment.
I think that's a great way to put it. It's not about following the crowd.
Right.
It's about, understanding the fundamentals, seeing the potential that other people miss, and having the conviction to stick with your analysis.
Yeah, to trust your gut.
Yeah.
It's about being a silver sleuth.
It is.
Right, uncovering those clues, putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
Exactly. And sometimes the most valuable discoveries, they're found in the most unexpected places.
That's right. That's right. Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today. Yeah. We really took a deep dive into this silver market.
We did.
Guided by Doug Casey, a true contrarian.
Yeah, a legend.
Right.
Yeah.
We looked at supply and demand, the history of silver, the new ways that it's being used, and all those potential things that could drive the price up.
Right.
We talked about the risks too.
Of course. Yeah.
And how important it is to do your own research, but diversify, talk to a professional.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, the decision to invest in silver, it's a personal one.
It is.
But I really hope this deep dive, it's given you the knowledge and the tools to make a good decision.
Yeah, an informed decision.
An informed decision. Yeah, that's what it's all about.
That's right.
And hey, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be the one telling your friends about silver before it really takes off.
Right.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,
and
keep an eye on that silver lining.
That's right.